Everybody, sorry about that. Some technical difficulties. I'm now slightly concerned that we might have the wrong points up as well.
No, they're fine.
They look fine. Okay, so not really sure why our video didn't update, but it looks like we do have the correct points on screen at least. So, misleading as that introduction may have been, in fact, last week was Bahrain. We saw a fantastic sprint and race, and we are here this week at round 4 of ARL Novice Division. Jeddah, I am your commentator. Nordal, I'm joined here by Deku in the box. 2 weeks in a row. How are you doing today, Deku?
Yeah, I'm going pretty good. How are you going?
I'm not too bad at all. I'm excited to be here. It's always good to see a bit of a street circuit, see a bit of carnage, a couple of big shunts maybe, and some good close racing. So I'm excited to see what happens. And yeah, I'm taking a peek at the standings right now, and it's very close. A few guys sitting there fighting closely at the top there. Josh, Valhalla, and James all very close at the top.
Yeah, we've even got Wobbsy a little bit closer, only 4 points away from entering top 3.
Yeah, and there's only 1 point between Valhalla and James, 44 and 43. 1 point separates them, so Wobbsy will be very eager to get his nose up in that mix.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very difficult race today, especially with the concentration that is needed for this street circuit. And ghosting isn't on. So what you saw last night with the ghosted cars, that won't happen. Cars will. If you go, you won't be able to go through them. You will run into them. So if someone bins it, especially on lap 1 in that first sector, I don't really want to see what's going to happen behind them.
Yeah, it's a bit of a narrow track, isn't it? You know, if someone spins across the track, you might just have to wait for them to sort it out, or you lose time to guys in front of you. So it's a lot to be said maybe for qualifying high up the field, keeping your nose out of trouble, and avoiding those early mayhem that hems people in, loses wings, and loses time.
Yeah, well, as we saw last week, I think Joe, he was able to keep out of trouble. He was able to keep his head low, and he was able to take the victory. But on this street circuit, I don't know if we're going to be able to see the same thing. A lot of drivers are fast around here, and it's not just speed that you need. You need consistency for lap after lap after lap.
You do, and to put in the fastest times, you're going to be going millimeters from the wall here, and that is not a whole lot of room for error, so all to play for.
Yeah, and especially the apex in turn 1, you're gonna want to hug that apex like it's your favorite granny. Get up and close. The more you move away, the slower your lap time's going to be, having to lift off that throttle.
Isn't your granny lucky to be so well treated? What a nice young man. Just having a quick look at the chat here. We've seen some support for McLaren, some let's go just generally. Rudiger's just happy to see sport ball happening, or car ball as it may be. And do some formula, ladies and gents, that the lobby is filling up. We've got 19 of 20 people. Still no update on what's happened to the video, sorry, but we should be underway soon. 20 of 20 people in the lobby. I imagine they're set up the final settings, and we'll be on our way. Well, we've got a few silent minutes to fill. Thought I would draw your attention to our Steam voucher giveaway. So for the month of August, all new subscribers and resubscribers in the Aussie Racing League Twitch channel will go into the draw to win one of 3 $50 vouchers for Steam. That's right, the ARL are giving away 3, count them 3. That's as many hands as I have vouchers for Steam this month. Just hit subscribe, go into the draw, with the winner will be announced on the Discord, on the Elite broadcast on the 1st of September. Join our Discord, subscribe to the stream, and you're in the draw. So if you feel like there's a couple of games on Steam that you might want to try out on someone else's dollar, could be a good day for you.
Yeah, I think honestly, nothing to lose really. Goes to a good cause, goes to the Aussie Racing League, and continuing to fund ourselves. And you might end up getting free $50, which you could buy some EA Bitcoin. I'm not sure if that's the best choice of money. You can buy some other games as well that you might like to enjoy a bit more than just some EA filthy Bitcoin.
So options on the table for those who are willing to take them, but yeah, it is for a good cause. It helps us keep ourselves running, helps us pay for the trophies and the custom T-shirts, and no, I don't know, I'm making things up now, but it does help us to keep the server running. Helps us pay for all the little tools and things we need to make sure we can give everyone the race results afterwards, get us some nice shiny new graphics, and make a lovely viewer experience for all of you. So yeah, love to have you along. And looking right now, we do have ignition. We've got 15 seconds until the lobby will be starting. Be on that lovely load screen, and we'll be underway with some qualifying.
I think this qualifying is going to be really crucial. You're going to have to, of course, when they're out on track with the lower rubber in, it's going to be a lot harder to try and set those faster times. A lot of people are going to be inconsistent out there, probably spinning the car around because they're not used to that low grip. But as soon as that track rubber's in enough, those cars are going to be absolutely flying through the sky right there.
And do you have any hot picks maybe for who's going to be performing pretty well tonight? Any pole sitters?
I've got a personal favourite, Valhalla. Last week, he started off good, off in the sprint, turn 1, got demolished, and his race was over from there. He couldn't recover, but I don't know. We don't know if it could be a redemption day. It could be a redemption day here in Saudi Arabia for the one and only Valhalla.
Valhalla is sitting P2 in the standings, if I'm not mistaken. So strong contender in any given race. It looks like, even with one bad week under his belt, he's right up there in the mix. We're keeping a tasty eye on him, and a couple of teams to maybe root for if you're new to the stream, if you don't know anyone and you want to support someone who's having a bit of a tough time. The Alpines and the Haas's this week. Got this season they've got 6 constructors points between them. So if you're looking for maybe a scrappy underdog to root for, we've got scrappy underdogs right here. And
yeah, we got a couple of them.
Yeah. So no one's choosing to go out on track just yet. Or keep you posted if anything happens. There we go. I can see some sort of.
Wait, is it a full wet race? I've just been told that it's a full wet race by Wereboy in the chat.
Full wet race by Wereboy in chat. That is a big call. That could be a mislead from a race engineer there. It remains to be seen, but I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, well, if it is a wet race, how many drivers do you think are going to finish?
Not many.
And if it is a wet race, how do you think the FIA is going to enjoy it as much?
Look, I think their only hope is that if the walls get them before each other do, then they might not have anything to report. But yeah, if it's a full wet race, I think we will see absolute chaos. I don't think anyone will have practiced for that. Some tracks you think that there's a chance of rain. You maybe just get yourself a wet setup just in case, or you just think about maybe what you're going to do. But Jeddah, no one expects rain. So if Wereboy is telling us the truth, we're going to see carnage. Turn 1 at Bahrain, absolutely nothing on this week, and I can't wait to see it. We're seeing right now, I'm watching Joe cutting a lot of corners on his outlap. I haven't read the ARL rulebook recently. Are we allowed to cut corners like that, or do you have to sort of stick to the track on your outlap? I know that it was forbidden at France, but I don't know if that's a general rule or just a...
In the rules, it's generally stated that you're not meant to be cutting the corners just like the race, but I mean, if you go wide or get some understeer in the wet or something, I mean, that's a little bit fair because it's raining, but in the dry, I don't think you can really have an excuse for cutting those types of corners.
Yeah, saving the tyres like that. It's a bit cheeky, isn't it?
Yeah, but anyway, he's going to start his flying lap now from 4th gear into 5th, and let's see how he goes. So down into turn 1, he's going to have that rear wing open, as we have a yellow flag in sector 3, all the cars backing each other up. Down into turn 1 we now go, all the way through this exit, holding it in 3rd gear, up to 4th on the exit. Ooh, not really, that medium traction control coming in hot there, and he's going to go start the second part of sector 1 now.
And he's keeping it clean so far. I thought he might have invalidated right at the sort of just into turn 2 there, but it looked like he just paid the price on the exit there instead, ran a little wide, and still keeping it nice and neat. Joe, he's a big competitive upholsterer, and this is a big corner here, down into the... I love this corner. There's something so satisfying. We actually have some carnage down back. We do have carnage. Nameless guy and Bevo colliding, 5th-place grid penalty already, so someone's going to be pretty unhappy about that one.
There is a McLaren reversing on the track now. This is a very dangerous corner for him. He's going to have to try and do a spin turn here to actually get past. There's a lot of grid penalties coming around now. Oh, no, this is not good. Very close there. God damn.
And
that is
Knight there as well, taking a a penalty for a collision with Nameless Guy. So Nameless Guy caught up in all the shenanigans at the moment. Meanwhile, Joe right now coming into the final hairpin. He's just into the last braking zone now, so we're about to see what might be a bit of a benchmark pace. Joe, obviously a very competitive driver, and Red Bull performing very well. Still at the top of the constructors' standings at the moment, so we'll know this will be a dialed-up car with a great setup. And Joe, 129.494 to set us off. Who's going to be next over the line? Aston Martin of Kev the Gardener, Pete. Second, don't see that often. Normally a bit later to run out on the qualifying time, and that is an outlap. That's why.
Just 9/10 down there on that time. It's probably it's decent banker. Maybe had some issues during that lap, as we have Wubsy setting the time. He's a little bit off the pace as well. About a full second there on that outlap. Although these drivers won't be pushing just yet. They want to get to grips with the track, and they'll end up finding their mood throughout these couple of corners. And we've got another yellow flag in sector 1. Not sure what happened there.
Shinudi there over 142.948, so I'm not sure if he's choosing to do 2 laps to warm up those tyres, or if he's had a bit of an undoing there, but probably not a lap he's going to be standing by until the end of time. And Bevo now, after digging himself out of the wall, does look like he's not going to jump in the pit, so maybe managed to avoid any damage in that little bit of carnage, but he's gone straight on. And is now he's completely missed turn 1 and is in some kind of trouble.
Yeah, so while that happened, Shinuti pushing again for a second hot lap. He actually spun and clunked the barrier a bit like Esteban Ocon, I think it was in Miami. Just lost the rear into, I think it was turn 13, let me bring it up, into turn 8, and he just slid along the barrier. So just able to get the car stopped in time though.
Qualifying to forget for Shinuti so far. Fires up a bad lap with a crash, and be too pleased with that. Shinuti's someone we know for phenomenal qualifying pace.
Ooh, and Trinius has been disqualified.
And yeah, that's him. Looks like, what's that? Turn 3 and 4, bring a few guys unstuck. It's a very complex track here, isn't it? I was surprised about the number of guys we're seeing pointing completely backwards, though. It's like you said. I think while this track hasn't quite rubbered in yet, and some of these guys are just struggling to get a feel for it until they're ready to go.
Yeah, well, in the simulator, some of them are just going to be doing time trials. They're not going to be pushing for Grand Prix. They're just going to be pushing for the fastest time possible. And yes, while that will help you, possibly in pace, it might not make you as consistent if you're not setting them as consistently, and if you're not used to having an unrubbered track. If you only know the limit, then you can't push under it.
Yeah. And might be what's catching some of these guys out. Base Baby right now, finishing up his hot lap. See if he can put in a good time for Ferrari. And Base Baby does go P2, still not on time with Joe, who after setting that very first flying lap is looking like a man to be contended with right now. 4 attempts clear still of Base Baby in P2. A solid effort lap from him.
Yeah, on notes, it's going to be very interesting for this qualifying. We've already seen a couple of slow times Joe, as you said, with an absolute monster compared to what the others are putting out. But we've also had, I'd probably say, 5 or 6 spins already. And if this is what qualifying is going to be, I can't imagine what the race is going to be like with a high fuel load and less grippy tyres.
Yeah, that is going to be very interesting, and yeah, it'll be absolutely fascinating to see who's practiced for that. The turn 1, I think one of the mistakes you can often make when you practice for these things is if you do practice a start, you only practice from P1, or often practicing finding a way to practice start from the middle of a grid is, unless you're going to find yourself at the very front of the back, it's really nice to know how to navigate that traffic when the guys in front of you are stopping and you're potentially having to take evasive action. So this turn 1 obviously pretty notorious for a bit of a 2-into-1 situation. Narrows very quickly on the drivers, so we are going to have to see some people giving ground when we get there. And who's it going to be?
Then he came out of the final corner and just pinned it into a wall. Doesn't look like he has any damage, but a little bit interesting if that was a strategy to slow himself down, or I don't know what was happening there.
I think that wasn't in that from Knight.
It was.
So yeah, not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe just annoying the team Ferrari. Is John Halney? Is that new? So not certain on pronunciation. Is that a new face in the league? He's taking P3 there for AlphaTauri.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I did not know that we had that there was someone new racing in my team. As I'm a part of the AlphaTauri. But I don't know. He could be a reserve. I think he's a reserve right now, because the other guy wasn't able to come. But hopefully, this guy, looking at what he's done so far, he might be able to produce a good lap.
Yeah, well, he certainly looks like he might have it in the bank. That's you know, if that's your first ever moment in ARL history books. Putting at P3, first hot lap, not too bad. And yeah, looks like we're about to be graced with another bout of hot laps. Most of these guys right now on an out lap or just commencing a hot lap. I think next over the line will be Nameless Guy, just finishing up a quick one now, hoping to join his teammate Joe on the front row of the grid. Can he make it a Red Bull 1-2? About to find out, and he's going very wide up the home straight. Still puts it on P4, 1:30.141. Probably added about an extra 20 meters to his sprint to the finish line there, but not a bad time at all from Nameless Guy.
As we have Joe actually going 3/10 faster than his original. He's now set in 1:29 flat, and I think Robbie is coming around the final corner. Doesn't look like he's on a really good lap. He's about he's pulling into the pit lane. Not sure who else is coming across the line though. A couple of drivers. We've got Foxy. He's on his out lap. He's about to start his lap, I believe. So we might follow him down as he's heading down to turn 1 right now. He's nice and steady, not really touching the curb as much as you might want to. And we're just going to follow him now through the next couple of corners. So down into turn 4 and 5. The long sweeping turn of turn 5. You really got to hug that apex. You go wide and you'll have to lift off the brake pedal as you go through. Turn 8 and now into turn 9. You can see a car off the track there, making sure you get all up on that curb. Well, didn't take it as riskier as the others were, as we saw Joe getting mounting both curbs in that one. Into the sweeping hairpin of turn 13. It's very easy to lose the rear here. Taking it nice and wide. He's got a good exit from what it looks like. And down into turn 16, 17, the next braking points. Got to get up nice and close and personal to the wall here. You got to kind of mount that curb as well. And he did do that a little bit. And the DRS is going to come wide open down this back straight now.
Yeah, so Foxy not falling prey to the commentator's curse just yet. I don't know if he knows that he's on the big screen, but yeah, often when we try to do these ride-alongs for laps, we see them put it into the wall by turn 2, and Foxy right now cool as a cucumber under pressure. And come on, fingers crossed that we're going to see a very hot lap here from the man himself as he rounds the final corner. And foot to the floor, 4, 5, 6. Not really short shifting as much as you might expect to see. Could Foxy be one of these medium traction control users I've heard so much about? Yeah.
Well, I mean, with medium traction control, of course, it can help you if you can use it right, but you still got to be able to, get that foot to the floor and get moving. I don't know. I think traction control, you can still go just as fast if you're good enough as some of the guys in the top league, but of course you'll still be slowing down a little bit more. But as we look up, we can see Valhalla actually. And Foxy has spun. He's put it into reverse, and he's backing up, and he's hit the wall.
Valhalla there passing a parked Ferrari as well. A couple of guys here really struggling to. I guess it's really hard to get out of the way with no ghosting. Once you spin, you're smack bang in the way of the next guy around the corner. So really good work. These guys really keeping it as clean as they have, and hopefully not too many cases of impeding.
Yeah, well, as I was talking, and he spun again. Can I get a sentence out? Oh, this is not good. Oh,
what a place to be round.
Oh, that is not what you want to see. And can I get a sentence out without being interrupted by a spinner again? So Valhalla actually has gone P3 there with his current time, just 7/10 away from Kev the Gardener, and just under 7 from Bass Baby. So he's kind of in the middle there. Nice and well as his first lap, and we'll have to keep our eye on him. Can he go 9/10 quicker, possibly 1.1 seconds quicker, to try and catch up to as we have Bailey DNFing actually.
Oh, so Bailey will not be pleased with that at all. Sets the best time of 1:56 and DNFs after 15 minutes of qualifying. He must have had a real nightmare of a time. And I'm seeing in chat HK Racing, I don't know if trolling, but saying guys, F1 2022 just put a patch out, be warned. So if you are listening to this, please don't leave the game. If you were here with us last week, you may remember that we had to leave the lobby in between the sprint race, the sprint qualifying and the race, as a patch dropped, and we all had to update for the new traction control model, or new handling model, or whatever. And yeah, so if that's happening again, we're going to experience an extended stream, and we'll be very much hoping to avoid that one. So guys, please don't restart your game, just in case HK is telling the truth.
Hawktree are rounding the final corner. That's going to put him P10, 130.3, and from P6 to P10, that is 3/10 separating them, all of them. As Bass Baby actually just said, it's the fastest lap of the 128.9. He's gone just faster than Joe, but we're going to have to see how Joe's going to retaliate as he's on his outlap.
Yeah, so Joe looking to fire back. First time all qualifying, he hasn't been on top spot of the front place on the grid, so he will not be happy with that after previously looking very dominant. But yeah, still plenty of time in the bag to set a hot one, and potentially, even if he, feeling very ambitious, even set 2 hot ones on the used tires. Haven't seen many guys going for that. Tyre wear maybe playing a bit of a role in the back of their minds, or maybe they're just still putting in such clean first laps so they don't have a need for a second one.
Yeah, well, speaking of clean laps, John Hanoi, or I think that's pronounced like the track in Vietnam, but John Hanoi has, he's actually gone and set a 129.5, which has put him up P3, so I think that was around 5/10 quicker than his last time. That's a good improvement from him.
Yeah, the AlphaTauri looks in P3 and P5 right now, ready to mount a charge on the front of the field this race if it stays as it is.
Now we can ride on board with Joe, who's going to start his hot lap here with Nameless guy behind him. Bit of a weird spacing between the two, but look at how Joe's attacking those curbs compared with what we saw to Foxy. He's going to get all up and close towards the barriers. He turns into, I think, 4 and 5. And you can see him just taking that curb and then hugging the apex a little bit wide, and he's lost. And that is Joe out of the race. That is a very big crash. As I was talking about, if you don't hug that apex and you back out of that and you don't back out of the throttle, you will. It's a very, very bad scene here now.
So fantastic news for Base Baby, and Nameless guy looking like he hasn't been too rattled by his teammates' unfortunate demise. But yeah, Base Baby right now sitting pretty, 5/10 clear of anyone left on the track, so looking like he might be taking that pole position. And not much left to do for Base Baby apart from sit there in the pits and wait. And, a few last guys who might be contenders. Valhalla obviously in P5 right now, P2 in the standings, so he'll be a contender on an outlap. 1 lap left to do it for Valhalla. And he's making his way through Sector 2 right now, so we'll have a little bit more waiting before we see him. And yeah,
we've got Nameless guy coming through the final sector now. He's gone a bit wide there. He'll lose a bit of time as there's not as much. I forgot the word, but it's when you're. He's gone pretty deep. Able to stop the car in time, and he's on that throw up and close to the wall. He's not taking the short rail line. He's just taking the straightest line possible ahead of him. But it's going to be a 129 actually, 0.7. I believe there was a couple of maybe a tenth to be gained in that final sector from just not being close enough to the barrier.
Yeah, he did that last time round as well, Nameless guy. It was a bit of a surprise to see. Not quite sure what that's about. I assume maybe just not aware really, or not thinking about it, focusing on other things. But yeah, maybe hurting his time just a little bit.
Yeah, as one, we've got another spinner in Sector 1. 2, Valhalla's on his hot lap. And Salty and Robbie of DNF, they have collided. What has happened up there? We need to know who's going to come out on top. Oh, and they're in the middle of the track.
And Valhalla's lap impeded significantly there. Kev the Gardner DNFs as well, it looks like, in the carnage. And Valhalla, yeah, you can see rear light on. He's abandoned lap there. He's not having any of that. So that's going to be a lot of unhappy campers there. A lot of guys DNFing right at the very end there of the session. It's like Monaco this year.
The Gardner's actually DNF'd as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened there, but as I was talking with the ghosting off, this is the drivers have to be aware, and as we can see, some of them they really don't care about what the yellow flag means. I think some of them need to go back to racing school.
Yeah, and some of these guys, I think maybe serving quali bans, didn't set a time at all. But yeah, absolutely. If you see a car crashed in front of you, avoid it. It'll, you know, don't assume it will turn into a ghost, because as we see time and again, and particularly with, you know, with these leagues with no ghosting, it might not.
Now, there's a couple people who could be on a lap here. Valhalla, he's definitely backed out of his. He's not going to improve there. But Knight, I think he's back further down in Sector 2, but there is a Haas of Foxy right now coming into the final corner. 331 or 332 being the max speed he reached there. And he's going to put the power down. He's going to open up that rear wing, and he's going to have a straight drive to the line, although I don't think it's going to be a big improvement. It's not. It's 6/10 off. And next around the corner, we've got Shanuti. He's 14 seconds off his time. He's a man of the lap, but here comes Knight all the way through Sector 2. Will he be able to get up there and show his Bass Baby teammate that he is allowed? Oh, it is invalidated.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be everyone, ladies and gents. It's Bevo. Is that Bevo behind there? Bevo, maybe
he's
the
2 tenths down on his time. I wouldn't be too sure.
Yeah, I think that might be the standing. So Bass Baby, awesome effort from him, just sneaking in, putting the pressure on Joe, who trying to fight back, found the wall instead. So that'll be Bass Baby in P1 and Joe rounding out the front row of the grid in P2. I'm taking guesses. P3, AlphaTauri making his debut for ARL as far as I know. Kev the Gardener, shock appearance on the second row of the grid in P4. Old mate James for Alpha Romeo in P5. Nameless Guy. Suffering from a grid penalty, looks like, after an early collision there, but qualifying in P6. Valhalla in 7 after aborting his final lap after the carnage in the back sector. Salty in 8th, also DNF'd after getting caught up in that mayhem. Wow, Wubsy, second Aston Martin in the top 10. P9 and Hawk Trio rounding out the top 10. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. We will be right back with a formation lap and some very exciting racing.
Are we
still live?
Wait, they can hear us?
Yes. Don't have an intermission screen to go to. Hello everyone. So yeah, still live and clear. I'd love to bring everyone the video that we're supposed to show you, the highlights that someone's gone to great effort to bring you. I might see if I can maybe, I don't know, roll that out later if we find a delay and an intermission screen or something. But apologies.
Is it meant to be raining this race?
That is what I heard. I'm looking at the sky there, and I can't tell if it's mist or not, but that looks pretty blue to me. I'm not seeing much sign of rain.
I may be colorblind, but I don't see any whiteness in that sky. Seems to just be pure bliss. Pure blue.
Yeah, so unless it's the famous old clear blue sky rain, we've been lied to. Boy throwing us a dummy once again, the master strategist at work.
Well, now, speaking of which, since it's not really raining right now, let's have a look. Rain on lap 13, according to Boy. I'm not sure I can trust that Red Bull strategist. He's making a lot of awkward decisions lately. But what is the tyre choice going to be for these drivers? I can already see a couple on the hards, I believe. So it's going to be a race to these last laps with the tyre positions. We've got the second row of the grid actually starting on the hard compound tyre. And then there's Robbie, I was talking about this earlier, and Bevo. They're starting on the softs. They're looking to go for a dash before a safety car, I think.
Yeah, and you'd have to think that if there's ever a track where you might see a safety car, it's got to be here, doesn't it? Just look at that. As they come around the corners, it's so narrow. There's walls everywhere. It's winding and tight, and there's no ghosting.
Ghosting is the drivers agreed that it should be off. Creates a more realistic environment, forces the drivers to be safer. And as we saw from the last night's race, it forces the back markers to get out of the way.
It does. It makes blue flags matter. So, yeah, there's a slogan for you. And, yeah, I'm thinking last week we saw turn 1, particularly in the sprint race, we saw absolute mayhem. And we've all been lectured by Bassink, Overlord of ARL, to keep our noses clean. So, do you think it's going to happen? I think turn 1 here is going to be mayhem. I don't think anyone's going to want to back out. We've got hard tyres and soft tyres and medium tyres all in the mix. I think we're going to see a very early safety car tonight.
Well, personally, I don't think it's going to be turn 1 or 2. I think it's going to be the tight, twisty sections of 4 and 5. I reckon some of the drivers are going to get out of shape and they're going to go sideways across the track, and people aren't going to be able to get away fast enough.
Yeah, and it's easy when you see that opening up ahead of you to try and stick your snout in there and get ahead, and sometimes it's safest to just, you know, not on the early laps when there's traffic all around you. So yeah, you might see a few more people getting caught up in crashes unnecessarily as they, you know, try to take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, we'll see a couple. But looking at these hard runners, Xander on the back, and the medium runners, obviously we've heard that there's rain during this race according to Weary Boy, but it's all a matter of time when that comes. This tyre choice is going to be absolutely critical to whether they have to pit again or whether they can fight it out till the rain comes.
Absolutely. I mean, for those guys on the softs, if they are expecting rain, they're relying on that rain coming before they pit, because if you have to pit once and then you're never going to make up the time before the rain comes. But I remain very skeptical that Weary Boy is telling us the truth. He's a shady operator. He's long experienced ARL campaigner, knows how to play the team game, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's selling us a dummy right now.
I would not be surprised, as well, as we actually have some drivers getting disqualified, and the final drivers now are lining up on the grid. We've got Xander in last, and we've got the McLaren going through right now to line up in his spot. I think that's Bevo. And now we're going to get the 5 lights coming up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's pedal to the metal. All of the drivers, I think, getting a late reaction there. Already seen a couple moves from Hawk Trio, Robbie. Some people going incredibly far down. There's contact there in the back, but turn 1 so far looks kind of clean, as we've got a spinner already. That's big contact into turn 1. Mercedes coming together, Ferrari's coming together, and Alfa Romeo is also not having a good time. This is... I said we wouldn't have turn 1 issues, but that was obviously a lie.
And that is double wave yellows, but race still underway, so no safeties just yet, and it's played really well into the hands of Base Baby and Joe, who already have a 2.5 second lead over John behind them. Kev the Gardener going backwards right now. I don't know if he was the first one caught up in the carnage there, losing places with teammate. Wobbsy up from 9th already into 5th. Fantastic start for him on the hard tyres as well.
Yeah, so as we can see right now, the AlphaTauri boys, they've made a pretty big campaign here. 3 and 4, they're going to do some team orders and invert the cars, and I think they're just going to try and follow along now. There's a 4-second gap to Joe, who is already on Bass Baby, but we'll have to see what happens here. Cars going through these tight, twisty sections. We've got Bevo and a Haas going very close together. Hawk Trio and Foxy, they were very close there through those sectors. And Alpine's followed by Williams. There's a couple Red Bulls I see. But overall, they're not side by side yet. They're just taking it nice and easy through these couple of corners.
Yeah, a remarkably respectful start for the race, really, isn't it? I mean, Shinuti obviously suffering pretty significant impositions there, as Joe Howney and Wobbsy fighting very hard through the back hairpin. And Base Baby cleans out the first lap, 4.5 seconds clear of Valhalla already, and there is fighting behind them, so this is looking great for the front two. If they just work together just a little bit, they can really stretch out that lead. And obviously those hard tires can go long, but they can't overcome a 15-20 second deficit if you're just that much slower on track. Right now, Base Baby and Joe looking fantastic.
Yeah, and we've actually got Salty going really wide there. He'll have to come back on the track and he'll have to readjust to the rhythm. And we're going to have a Haas sandwich here, Robbie and Foxy. They're going to look to get past this man, I think. But we do have another yellow flag, and it is a Mercedes. It is Panache. He is spun in turn 4 and 5, where I was talking about earlier.
And Xander too looks to be round.
Yeah, so definitely not good. We've got an overtake in the midfield. Robbie getting past Foxy.
Yeah, teammate battling there, and Robbie on the soft tyres probably thinking, why didn't he let me through sooner? He wants a crack at the back of Salty, and Salty is looking a bit vulnerable after that moment before. Robbie breathing right down the back of his neck and looking to get the move done before those soft tyres start to fall off. And
there's 3 wide, there's big crash! 3 wide, okay, red, and we've got a Ferrari hitting the grass! And that is a 5-second penalty. We have had just 3 cars going side by side, putting them against the wall, and just going sideways. And we've retiring. And Foxy, I think, getting caught up in that possibly.
And the camera here is just awful.
We have had about a 5-car collision here on the back straight of Jeddah. This is not what has happened, and the safety car has come out. I don't think there's any drivers into the pits, but this is not the driving standard that we should see.
That is, yeah, we missed most of that on my screen, sorry. The camera angle did not want to show us the action, but yeah, that is, that's a big shunt. And you, as we said, you know, you see with Panache coming through much later and getting caught up in the action, you need to be aware that the cars aren't going to ghost, because you know, you can arrive on the scene 10 seconds later and there's still a wall of car there. And, you know, Panache wasn't one of the original guys caught up in that. He arrived on the scene later, I think, and then DNF. So, yeah, yeah, a bit of a lesson there about, you know, remembering your settings, remembering what you're racing against.
So, did you end up seeing what happened there?
Saw a bit of it, but didn't catch the main affair.
Okay, so 3 drivers, a Haas, a Ferrari, and a different car. They were going 3 wide, and there was a McLaren up the back of them. One of the cars moved over and switched the other one into the wall. They went sideways. The Ferrari drifted back out, Red Bull clipping the Ferrari, and then it all went downhill from there. You can see a lot of them ended up getting their front wing changed, I think.
Yeah, big mayhem. So it's I guess Shanuti maybe making the most of this. He'll be closing back up to the back of the pack after a horror start to lap 1. A couple of guys will be feeling pretty good about this. I'm going to say Base Baby and Joe probably pretty disappointed to see their lead just evaporate in a moment like that, but I think, you know, this is largely what was expected. Maybe the soft runners all planned for this.
Yeah, I think the soft runners, they were waiting for a safety car. They're just trying to buy their time here on the fastest tyre here, but also the most degrading. But sometimes that won't get you there, because slow and steady, slow and less grippy, as we can see from Wubsy, might have won in the race here. I believe he started in P9, and he's actually passed both AlphaTauris, with the AlphaTauris and Aston sandwich, and he's up into P3.
He is looking very formidable this week, isn't he? Well, Wubsy. We'll stay posted for a huge climb through the field here.
Yeah,
And most of these drivers, especially if you're on the hard tyres, you're going to want to start warming up your tyres probably about now, because I think Foxy there at the back will catch up before the end of this lap. No, is it 2 laps under safety car and it comes in on the second?
My understanding is with Codemasters it depends on how good a job the back of the field do of closing up to the pack, but I don't know. I thought it was 3 laps, on the third comes in. But
alright.
I've been told I don't know what I'm talking about, so there's if anyone in chat wants to bail us out here and tell us when the safety car's going to come in. There's still a couple of guys in the pit, so Hawk Trio choosing to come back out on the softs there, maybe make up some of that missed ground, and serving looks like penalties, getting wing replacements, pretty much everything that can happen in a pit lane. And looks like, final 3 guys back out on track. They'll be closing up to the back of the pack. I need to think that they'll be able to close up before we hit sector 3 here, so hopeful that we'll see the end of the safety car nice and soon. We'll be back to racing. Farmer Sam 33 telling us probably next lap comes in, and I say catch up this lap, I'd say. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So hopefully these guys are not playing the tyre saving game too much. Hawk Trio though might be thinking about it.
Yeah, it's going to be very intriguing here on this restart. What's going to happen? Who's going to get the better run? Who's going to end up diving others? And for I don't know how, but somehow Valhalla has actually gotten in front of Wubsy. Very interesting about that. I'm not sure if that's legal.
Sneaky boy. Might have been a little bit of lag there. We do see that occasionally. Codemasters the Codemasters are EA that we blame now, whoever it is.
EA.
Little shonky. Yeah, still some desyncs, still some bugs. Could have some more.
I think the safety car could actually come in this lap. I think that McLaren at the back is gonna. I think that McLaren at the back should catch up enough.
Yeah, he's pretty close, but I think if we haven't had safety in by now, I don't think we're going to, because as around the last corner, it's not really enough time to give the safety a buffer, is it? So that's
it is not coming in this lap. We've got 1 more lap. Is there any engineers here that would be able to tell us the ETA terrain, so we can start having a little fun game here in our commentary box? And no, there is no rain.
There is no rain. See, I knew it.
So Wary Boy, he's pulling a sneaky one on us.
Can't be trusted.
Well, I think with the rain it might have been might not have had anyone finished. So anyway, we can just keep it like this. No rain. That means full grip. That means you guys shouldn't be spinning. But of
Yeah, no
course,
excuses.
no excuses apart from skill issues.
That's my excuse every week. And yeah, field very much closed up right now, so if the safety car doesn't come back in, everyone start penning an angry letter to EA. Fingers crossed that everything's working just fine. And yeah, I've got to say, I'm looking forward to this battle between the AlphaTauris and the Aston Martins. B3, 4, 5, and 6, nicely spread out. That looks like a battle for the ages. Bit of team strategy there, bit of teammate work. All on the hard tyres. We could be seeing another 15 laps of, well, probably not 15 laps, only 25 lap race, but we could be seeing pretty extended battle between these guys, duking it out, and who knows, maybe the double DNF for both teams if we see the right kind of mayhem.
Yeah, and speaking of which, we did see that Achuri, he started one of the last cars on the grid, and he has managed to make his way up into P8 along with James in P9, and Bailey has just left the lobby. I'm not sure if something's happened there, but
Oh dear.
that is unfortunate.
Yeah, but yeah, as you say, Achuri up 9 positions, Trenny also up 9 positions. Good effort for those guys. It's been a big march, and yeah, it's not maybe the easiest track to make up huge amounts of ground because of the risk involved, as we've seen. You know, fighting too hard, it's a bit chaotic, and they are backing up right now. Base Baby letting the safety car lead into the pits. Not a huge buffer built up there, and is he going to go? He's thinking about it, and foot to the floor, he is away. Base Baby leads us off, and Joe not too far behind. Valhalla's sticking in there as well. Looks like he might have got a bit of temperature into those hards. And Wubsy following up, and look at that AlphaTauri Aston Martin battle shaping up beautifully behind us.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting on this sixth racing, definitely not racing lap, but on the 6th lap, we're going to see, are these drivers going to be able to keep it clean? As you can see, Bass Baby actually had a bit of a snap there, but otherwise keeping it nice and clean through the first sector. They're going to come out here through turn 18, I'd assume. There's so many corners in this track that I cannot count. But everybody's just sticking with each other right now. I can't see any moves made apart from possibly Knight on the Haas. Ooh, he's just gotten squeezed towards the wall. He's unable to make it past Robbie there.
Yeah,
everybody's just keeping it nice and clean.
Yeah, once again, these front guys pulling out that lead again. Valhalla already falling 1.6 seconds off the pace, and it wasn't done on the restart. It's been done in the corners, so looks like Base Baby and Joe having some pace. The other guys just can't match at the moment. And Joe right now is right on the back of Base Baby, putting huge pressure on. Knight retires from the session, and he's right the way around. And we see Bailey. Did he dodge it? He managed to avoid the carnage, and Knight out of the session. We're seeing, is that another safety car? Full course yellow flags. I think that might be another safety car.
So we did see a McLaren into the wall there, and then we saw Knight spun around. Not a good race for him. And that's another safety car. How many safety cars are we going to get, ladies and gentlemen?
I was going to say, does anyone have the power to throw up a poll for us? We've got 2 now. So we're going an average of 1 every 3 laps.
Who is the McLaren engineer, boy? That's a good question. But they're definitely looking like they did at the start of the season, down at the rear of the field, which is not where they want to be. It's not where anybody wants to be. And whether you like it or not, the one thing that a Formula 1 driver hates to hear is that they are too slow. And that is not what they want to hear.
Yeah, unfortunately I hear it quite a lot, but yeah, it's I think, you know, when it's both members of the team, you can pretty safely blame it on the strategy. So, you know, we'll really pin this one on the engineer.
Yeah, it just seems like the Papaya team is just punting itself around again.
Yeah, too busy fighting about contracts with Alpine.
Yeah, it must be. But this is going to be another boring couple of laps. 2 laps, I think.
Yeah.
Before we get back under racing.
Yeah, nothing massive to look at really. We've got some beautiful scenery. I mean, it must be lovely to visit some of these venues, mustn't it? It's quite a pleasant summer's night. A bit of construction going on in the background there, maybe not, but I would love to go to Jeddah and watch this. Give me right to views to the side.
I think it'd be a bit of a scary track with how fast the cars are going, and just the ability for them to always lose their downforce at any second when they're rounding those corners.
Oh no, I think I might have picked a fight with Cappy in the chat there. Blaming the McLaren engineer.
And Dutchy actually talking about if you're going to smell some smoke there in Saudi.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's some concerns, but, you know, in theory, if you just sort of teleport in there safely, it'd be lovely. And happy birthday to you, Ekim. Good to hear. I always thought you were a man in his mid-40s.
As we're talking about, Bass Baby is currently in the lead, and his points currently is on 37. He's 5th in the championship. I think he wants these points, and that's going to put him up nice and high. But Josh behind him, if he can keep this up, it'll be a stellar of a race from him, for sure.
Yeah, Joe knows how to contest the championship. He's been here before, and he's at the top once again, and he knows that P2 is pretty good, and we've seen it from him. He's been on the back of Bass Baby all race, hasn't made any crazy lunges, hasn't done anything stupid. He knows there's 17 more laps to go, and any mistake from Bass Baby and he's through. He's not going to throw away, what, 25 points, 20 points? I can't remember what the point system is this season, but he's not going to throw away big points on the off chance that he gets a few more. He knows how to bank good points and fight out a championship.
Yeah, well, you don't want to throw anything away. You always want to make sure you take what you can get. If you go too hard and you go too fast, you know, you might just lose it all in that one moment.
Yeah, and this is the track for it. We've already seen 2 guys out, 8 laps, and yeah, Knight obviously it looked like a crash sort of his own making, but Panache caught up in an entirely different incident. You need to be careful here. So yeah, you know, wise heads are prevailing right now. As once again we make our way into sector 2. Still no action.
So I think this is going to be the final lap under safety car that we have right now, and then we can get back racing. And we all know that these guys at the front, they're going to want to fire up those rear tires, and they're going to want to really put some temperature into them as they get started again.
Yeah, and these guys on the hards obviously had a bit of a nightmare having to get them hot and cold, and then, you know, heat them up again off the start. It's a tricky situation because obviously, you know, tire temperatures really matter, and I don't know about you, but on formation laps and, you know, under safety car, I've been really struggling to keep the heat in my tires in this game. So, you know, Valhalla, Wubsy, John Howney and Kev the Gardener must be weaving like crazy trying to get some temperature in those tires so they can actually contest this restart as the medium tires start to go off.
Yeah, as we can see from race control, the safety car is in this lap, and Valhalla, considering what happened last time, he's going to want to keep up with Joe for as long as he can.
Yeah.
As we can see that 1.6 second gap before a safety car came out.
Yeah.
He's going to want to stay right on that exhaust.
He doesn't.
And they're going to come around the final corner now. Or Joe's going to try and get a better exit, but it's not worked for him.
Doesn't look like he's compromised Valhalla as well behind him, and Wubsy as well. All sort of compromised as a result of Joe trying an alternate line. And look at that, Valhalla, absolutely awesome launch, gets up the outside of Joe, and he's through. Joe can't defend that. Bass Baby holds P1, but Joe falls back P3, Valhalla slowing into P2, and there we go. Wow, Wubsy all over the back of Joe as well. Maybe those medium tyres are starting to feel a little bit of the wear, maybe the hard's coming into their own a little bit more. I don't know, but that's not what Joe wants after being rapid all race, and he is all right over the back of Valhalla again. As once again, Bass Baby drawing out that lead, and Joe might be thinking right now that this is going to cause him serious concerns. He does not want to be trying to claw back that distance when he wants the race lead, and he's probably got the pace to take it to Bass Baby if he doesn't get stuck in traffic.
Yeah, well, definitely don't want to get stuck in traffic here, as we've got John Hanoi now. He's actually gotten ahead of Wubsy, and now that Red Bull's in a little bit of an AT sandwich. But yeah, Bass Baby, he's caught out that lead on those 8-lap old mediums. Valhalla actually gaining a lot through there, and he's going to make the move. Is he? He's going to go side by side through this tight, twisty section. Joe has had an issue. He's slowing down a lot there. He is slowed down almost completely. He's losing a bunch of positions, and Xander has retired from the race. Valhalla getting past Bass Baby, and that's another safety car. Is this crash gate that we are seeing right now?
Race is being red flagged, I'm reading in chat.
Is race is being red flagged? What has happened here?
Red flag, according to Gears. It's a red flag, guys. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but starting to see people pulling out. leaving, and I could have sworn you're not supposed to see safety cars so rapidly back to back. So I don't know what that's all about, but driver got kicked and the patch is out. Oh, not this again. People, I am very apologetic about this. We are...
Okay, so we've got a red flag, then I guess we should restart our game?
Yeah, I think we might need to update ourselves. So I'm just going to send everyone to a highlights clip that I think you've already seen before, but it's always good to see. And you guys have fun. Let us know what you think. Big credit to the content creators who made it, and we'll be right back with a reformed lobby.
Well, like, get your act together. I would have thought it would have been, you know, scavenge for some money somewhere.
Raise your piggy bank.
Yeah, gonna have to take out 100% of my loan there with a 500% interest rate.
Yeah, remortgaging the house to do 500,000 Twitch raffle entries so I can win 3 Steam vouchers.
Last time I checked, it was only you got 1 entry with your sub, and that was it. You couldn't get any more.
Damn it. Well then. Probably didn't need to remortgage my house, did I?
I would say you definitely did not have to.
Bugger.
Now, we've just got to wait for a couple other players to ready up before we get started. But you can have a look at how excited these boys are on the pit wall. You can see Jeff, Mace, Guy, Henny over there. You can see Prince Harry, and you can also see a couple people waving their hands around as they cheer on their favourite Latifis over there on the track.
A couple of people clearly lingering over their fuel choice. Normally see someone mashing start the second we get into the lobby. That was unusual as we line up for the formation lap. And
Now, we've got Joe back in front of Valhalla again, so we've got that Aston Martin sandwich this time. But the thing is, the tyre choice, okay? Everybody but Wubsy, Gardner, Achuri, Nameless Guy, Foxy, Hawk Trio, and Bevo are starting on the mediums. So all of those names that I just announced, they're starting on the soft tyre, and they, I think, might be looking for an early safety car bargain to help them with their race for now.
yeah, you'd think so. And after what we saw in the last race, you'd probably think that they're in with a good chance of getting that safety car that they're probably fishing for. And you know, probably quite an early point in the race, and they'll be able to go to the end on the mediums. But with that said, if we do see a safety car lap, you know, 1 or 2, is it better to strap on the softs, you know, go to lap 5 under safety and then just do 8 laps on the softs instead, or you'd be a bit quicker?
Oh no, I think it might be worth pitting under the safety car, to be honest, no matter what happens, just because of that time. But then again, we were talking about safety cars, and they can come out at any stage on this track. Well, we predicted that if it was raining that we'd have about half the grid finishing, but it's not, and we've got currently 18 drivers still running their cars along the track here, so how many do you think are going to survive until the end?
Look, I think a race start is always an opportunity to see some carnage. But I think after what we just saw, these guys will be keeping it clean, so I'm thinking we're going to see another DNF around about 3 or 4 laps into the race when people start to relax a little bit and the tyres go off and they get just a little hurly-burly. But I don't think we're going to see too many more DNFs. I think most of these guys have shown that they can be a little cautious. I think we're going to see a lot more wing damage. I wouldn't want to be the guy responsible for changing these guys' wings today, because I think we're going to see a lot of hunts.
Why don't we get someone to put up a poll being like first lap where there's a first DNF, or a lap with there's a safety car within, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see. We've got SGN confidently stating we'll see a safety car in 3 laps again. Yeah, it's not a bad bet. So let's see. Have these guys? Only 2 guys missed their grid slots before. That's pretty good by the standards we've been seeing lately. You're going to see an improvement again. Joe immediately disqualified, really setting himself back there on his bid to. You know, Base Baby has held the lead at every stage of this race, and he's had multiple opportunities to make a mistake and lose it, and he has not done so. And once again, Joe's just giving him that little bit of breathing room to just keep his nose ahead. And Base Baby is looking really cool under pressure tonight. And every opportunity, I might have cursed him too early here, but every opportunity, Base Baby finds a way to keep that P1. Every restart they've thrown at him, and we're going to see if he can do it again. We've got 4 and 5 red lights, and here we go. Foot to the floor. Base Baby gets a decent start, and it's like Hornets they are, and there's an Alpine straight off the wall, and we're seeing Joe go straight on as well. Very, very wide. Valhalla and Wubsy getting through, fighting hard there, and Wubsy up 2 more spots. Valhalla ultimately stays where he is, and this is great for Base Baby. Base Baby off into the lead. Wubsy sneaking as well. Remember, he started P9, and he's up into P2 at the very start of the restart. Kev the Gardener also back up in P4. Aston Martin's absolutely taking advantage of that restart. An absolute disaster for the Alpha Tauri. He's looking to put the pressure on, and John Halney right now all the way back down in 14th place and losing ground there to Shanudi, putting huge amounts of pressure on him. He's going backwards and backwards.
Now, as we can see the drivers coming out of the hairpin, we've got a couple moves. Joe is down a lot of places, a Churi up. Valhalla is now in the Aston Martin sandwich, and they are coming now down through turns 16, 17, and all the way down to 22 and 23. These are going to be critical corners for this Grand Prix. And we can see Salty and Trenny swapping positions as Williams boys, and we've got a Churi and Joe going side by side. Turns 22, 23, I can't see what's happening. Neither of them willing to give an inch, and a Churi pushed onto the rumble strip there, and he's going to lose time there. Joe's got through, he's back on his hunt there for the championship, as we got another move from Kev the Gardener on Valhalla. Valhalla not fighting that, and the Aston brothers up into P2 and 3.
And the Aston, clearly their race engineer, both of them on the soft tyres, maybe knowing something we don't, and obviously Base Baby looking very quick once again on those medium tyres, but the Aston Martin strategy right now paying dividends as they're zooming off, making their way massively through the field, and Valhalla right now taking a look at the inside of Kev the Gardener, but not able to get it done, and I think now with that tyre advantage, Kev the Gardener will continue pulling away, and right now hoping that Joe gets caught up in that field, because we know that Joe can be seriously fast, and even after that turn 1 mistake, he's all the way back up into P5 already and looking threatening.
Yeah, very much so. We've got a lot of the drivers further down the field here, swapping positions constantly, and we've got a big spin from a Williams. He's on the racing line. People are going to have to avoid him. We've got contact, multiple contact there. I think he got hit by someone, by Trenny. Trenny S got hit by Bailey, who has got a 5-second penalty. Does he have wing damage? I can't tell. He doesn't. But that 5-second penalty is just about his race over here, I reckon.
Yeah, that's not what you want in a very short race. And I mean, obviously a pit stop under safety car will clear that penalty for him, but he's still going to be at the very back of the grid. So Trenny really not wanting to go around where he did.
Now we've got Joe again back on Valhalla here. They're going to go side by sides into 22, 23 again. This isn't really what you want to be doing.
Version as well.
Valhalla's going to take it around the outside. He's going to keep it as Achuri gets the speed. He will have speed here. He's going to bleed that ERS, I reckon. No, he isn't. He's chilling in the back. Joe, what his name is going to make a move, and we've got Salty on Achuri, and these cars are so close together right now, and there's contact at the back. Salty hitting Valhalla, and Achuri is about to go through, I reckon, as we've got a McLaren Hawk trio joining the fray now, and they're going to come down the main straight for lap 3.
Churi is indeed looking up the inside, then looks to the outside, can't get it done. Valhalla defends and only letting one through that time, and look at Salty right on the back there of Churi. Those soft tyres count for nothing when Salty's around. He is looking very hungry, and this fight for what is essentially P4 is furious. He's in 2x2 into every corner. Salty keeping the pressure on, Hawk Trio getting right up in the mix now. Those soft tyres really paying dividends at the moment. We're seeing most of those guys on the softs moving forward pretty comfortably, aren't we? And look at those Aston Martins really looking comfortable right now. Base Baby again looking too rapid to be touched, but Kev the Gardener and Wawa Wubsy playing the team game there in 2 and 3, looking comfortable right now. And we'll see if Kev the Gardener looks to drop back and give Wubsy DRS to help defend from Joe, or if it's a bit of a every man for himself situation right now.
Yeah, well, we did see earlier that we saw that Joe, has actually gone past Achuri and Valhalla. He's made his way back up, and there's now a big battle here from all the way from 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. These 4 drivers are right up and close to each other. Hawtree, he's not got the line he wants, and I think he's in danger from getting overtaken by Nameless Guy. And DRS has been enabled, so this extra speed is going to help them. Down that back straight, you've got Salty now looking for Valhalla, but you've got Valhalla looking for Achuri. None of the moves are done. Salty looks like he could get a switchback.
John Haldane goes up the inside of old mate James. someone getting it done at least. But look at that DRS train that's forming up. This is awesome fighting, and we're seeing lots of places changing there. Joe gets past Wow Wubsy, and Valhalla, it looks like, gets past Arturi, was that? I saw positions swapping and fighting all the way up down the field. Old mate James and John Honey still fighting very hard, and old mate gets the better of him initially, but looks like he got very poor exit from their corner and might be under pressure again. Holds on for now. Alpha versus Alpha, the Romeo versus Atari. And this is developing into a furious race at this moment.
Yeah, the two Alphas are going head-to-head here as we've got a McLaren and a Williams behind them. Hawk Trio and Salty. Will Hawk Trio look for the move? He's going to move to the inside. He's going to think about it, and he's going to think about it. He's going to back out. Salty keeping the position. And these drivers now starting to spread out. Joe's going to catch back up as we got a yellow flag in sector 2. We got a spinner. I can't find him. It is Nameless guy. He's spun. He can't get back out.
And he's right in the middle of the road here.
Put it into reverse.
Yeah, and straight into the wall, and Trenny hopefully won't. Oh dear, he's.
Gave me a little bit of a heart attack there.
You got him pointed in the right direction eventually, and Foxy's race going from bad to bad. He's down in P18 again, not having a great time of it, Foxy. Oh. Yeah. And once again, Nameless Guy around. It looks like Nameless Guy having an absolute horror of a time trying to get those tires cool. Meanwhile, Joe has made his way through the field. He has completely gapped Wow Wubsy right now, who's fallen a long way back from his teammate there as well. And
meanwhile, if we take a look behind, yeah, Salty actually went a little bit deep on Valhalla, but he's going to get the move again. And I think Hawk Trio might try and follow through here. Braking late.
Valhalla's going to fight it back, but Salty muscles his way through in the end. And yeah, Hawk Trio looking up the inside there of Valhalla maybe. Not able to get it done on this moment, but he does look like he might have the pace to keep threatening, and he's very close right now, keeping that pressure right on.
Yeah, you can see that they're just taking it nice and easy through those corners. Make sure they stick to the apex. Make sure they kiss it nice, and make sure they kiss it for a long time there. As that apex, you can't take any other alternate line. There's one line. It's the fastest line. You've got to make sure you take it the entire way around that first sector.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
no one.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe is actually caught up a little bit to Wow Wubsy here with a 5/10 gap. He's going to get the DRS.
Joe was just a moment ago ahead of Wow Wubsy. He's actually lost a bit of time there. He was in Kev the Gardener's DRS there just a moment ago. So Joe coming unstuck somewhere actually, it looks like. And we can see another red flag, a yellow flag at the back there. So it looks like Xander around this time on the exit of the long hairpin. It is very easy to lose the background there, and Joe right now and Salty goes out of the race, and well, I mean, I was gonna say we might get a view from Bailey as he goes by, but Bailey is
might have to look for Trenny S here. He's coming into the corner. He doesn't know what's there. He threads the needle, luckily.
And we might get another sticky beacon as Xander comes through, but Salty out of the race after pretty competitive fighting. That midfield battle was absolutely awesome for a moment there, but this will be, well, not a safety car even. We're seeing a lot of guys pitting, maybe anticipating it will be, but it not. It's race continues to go on, and Hawk Trio right now leading a bit of a DRS train, and a very different looking field right now in the middle, as presumably a lot of those guys choosing to pit, maybe assuming it'd be a safety car. We're seeing right now Hawk Trio leading quite a different group of people to what he was just previously. Wow Wubsy, Kev the Gardener, Valhalla all choosing to jump into the pits, and Valhalla looking like he's lost out a little bit there, coming out a fair way behind both the Aston Martins.
Yeah, well, we can take a look. Speaking of Valhalla, he's put on the hard tyre, and he was recently just on the medium. I'm not sure that's the right strategy call from the AlphaTauri crew. Someone's going to have to chat to them, because it's not going to feel good around here with 6 laps remaining. I don't think it's the right call, I'm not going to lie.
No, it's a very short race, isn't it? You'd think you'd be having a strong preference for the softer compound tyres. It's an unusual one, but we know that, Jeff does like to sometimes sell out his drivers and put them on harder tyres just for a lark. So I imagine Valhalla right now is probably swearing at Jeff.
Speaking of the AlphaTauri, we've got Juan Hanoi actually coming over onto Hawk Trio there. We can see that DRS. It's really extending them. He's going to back out of the corner, but he might get a bit of a better move as we got another yellow flag. I'm not sure what happened there. It's another
Trenny again.
Trenny S, another Williams that has had a little bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, and back on the action, John Hanoi, or Honey, or however you say it, once again not able to get it done. you thought maybe those two DRS straights and how close he was to the back of Hawk there, he might be able to find an opportunity, but he's just stuck there at the moment. And you think as Hawk's tyres are starting to go off here, it would be the chance to strike for John, and he's looked strong. He's been quick in qualifying. He's been up in the mix all race, but he just cannot get past that soft compounded McLaren right now.
Yeah, well, if he's doing this well in the mediums, who knows what he can do on the soft tyre. He might be looking, and we've got a spinner as well. It's Robbie who's actually going to come back on track here, and he's going to impede. Oh, Kevin Gardner there. That's a very dangerous re-entry there. I think Kevin Gardner might end up reporting that, just sat back on the racing line.
Might not be very happy. Grumpy old man of the league, Kevin Gardner, will be shaking his stick in anger, and maybe rightfully so.
Yeah, well, John Hanoi, he's got that DRS again, coming down this straight. If you have a look at the two drivers, you can see that Hanoi, I think he had an extra, 12 kilometers of speed there on that straight. Now, he's going to get the DRS again. He's not going to use his DRS, taking a wider line. He's already a lot faster, around 10 kilometers faster than Hawk Trio, but it's not enough to get past him here. Will he look for it down at this next corner, or will he go into the pits for those new tires? I think he's going to do the latter, and he's going to go into the pits. He's not going to overtake.
Hawk Trio out of the way.
Joe got a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. He may have just thrown his race away.
Joe is having an absolute nightmare of a race, and meanwhile, Base Baby still hasn't pit. 15 seconds right now ahead of the next closest man on track. Obviously, after the pits wash out, we'd expect, I think Kev the Gardner is actually in net P2 at the moment after that incident for Joe. So Kev the Gardner looking very strong, following up Base Baby, and we'll have to see if that undercut's good enough for him, because yeah, Base Baby is making those mediums work really well for himself right now, and he's going to be looking, you'd have to imagine, very quick on those softs when he comes out.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about if Valhalla had chosen the right tyre compound, and he did just set the fastest lap of the race. I'm still not sure if they're the right tyre compound, but whatever it is working for him right now. But he's not able to gain that many positions from where he started from.
Yeah, well, I mean, fastest lap's the fastest lap, I guess. But yeah, you do have to wonder how much quicker it'd be on the softs, or yeah, maybe stuck in a bit of train there or something, or worried he was giving too many people the slipstream, and wanted to get on those tyres and go a little longer. But I would absolutely have chosen the softs there. I'm a bit puzzled.
Yeah, and we can see Old Mate James going a little bit wide on that corner exit there. As we got another yellow flag, it's going to be Bailey or Xander there. I'm not sure it's Xander. He just spun around, but we can see Shanuti here up the back of Old Mate James, who's almost out of DRS. I think both of these guys are going to look to pit this lap. They don't want to stay out much longer, but Bass Baby is
Shanuti does
John
the opposite.
Hanoi, he is staying out.
Shanuti chooses to stay out as Old Mate James jumps in the pit. He wants to go for the overcut. He does not want to come out right behind Old Mate James where he was.
Now, Jean Hanoi, he's on 8-lap-old mediums. I'm not sure if this is the right choice. 8 laps, right? You got 4 remaining.
Well, so we're on lap 9, so he pit lap 1, did he? He must have had...
He did not pit. He is on the same tyre compound.
Ooh. Yeah, hasn't pit. Okay, so yeah, obviously this is a lot to ask your tyres, isn't it? When the softs are there ready to go, it seems weird to go long on the meds, but who knows? Maybe he knows something we don't. And
maybe.
Wow, watching this very wide there. We keep seeing that, don't we? Is it turn 5 there? We just keep seeing people just completely missing that section of track, going very long. And
maybe you're talking about turn 5.
Turn 5, yeah. And yeah, it's a bit of a tension breaker, that one sometimes. Everyone gets all nice and close, and then someone goes wide, and then the pressure's off. Right now, watching Hawk Trio right on the back of Old Mate James. Old Mate maybe just because he's on his outlap, but not really seem to find that much pace on those softs just yet. And Hawk Trio looking very aggressive with that DRS. He should have no issues getting by there, and James goes defensive, but Hawk Trio around the outside through that long section. Nothing really James can do. He's going to have to try and come back at him next lap on those faster soft tyres, but Hawk Trio getting great work done. And meanwhile, Joe has just passed Kev the Gardner up the field, missing all the big action here. Kev the Gardner maybe doing a Charles Leclerc, should have DRS here on the way down the straight. He does, but Joe getting very cleanly past there, and Kev the Gardner really not seeming to have the straight line speed at all to close it up, as we see Shanuti? Yeah, Shanuti finally choosing to pit. So we'll see where he comes out. But yeah, Joe and Kev the Gardner still a long way behind Base Baby. Base Baby looking like he's done everything he needs to keep this in the bag. And Bailey retires from the session. Big issues, and that's a safety car. That is huge for John Halney right now. He is absolutely cheering. This is a free pit stop. He's not going to lose really any positions. Right back where he started, despite the chaos of turn 1, and he's played it to perfection. I guess he was just waiting for that safety, stretching out those meds.
Okay, well, now this safety car is going to stay out for 1 lap. We're going to get 2 laps of racing here. It's going to be a sprint to the final line. And yeah, John Hanoi, he's gonna get a good pit stop, although I don't think he's gonna come out too far ahead. He might come out P3 or P4, but those fresher tires might serve him what he needs. And yeah,
the person this is terrible news for right now, obviously, is Joe, who, carrying a 5-second penalty, is going to have really no opportunity to build that lead back out to any significant number of field, assuming there's no carnage on the final 2 laps. But that's really tough to cop for him, because 5 seconds in 2 laps is almost insurmountable, and that's going to see him falling way back through the field, almost wherever he finishes. So Joe will be very disappointed with that one.
we can see he's come into the pit lane now. He's gonna make sure he gets that AlphaTauri pit stop nice and perfect. As we've got Bass Baby, he's gonna come down the straight now. He's gonna pass him as we've got him in the pit lane. Looks like a decent pit stop from the AlphaTauri crew. Now he goes. He's going to get passed by Joe and Kev the Gardener, but will Wow Wow Wubsy be able to spoil the AlphaTauri crew here? He's coming out of the pit lane. It looks like he's going to be ahead, and he will be ahead.
He will split them, and he will have those fresher tyres as well, especially Kev the Gardener, 5-lap-old meds ahead of him. Might be feeling a little vulnerable right now. And definitely, you know, the pressure from behind won't be there, because Wow Wow Wubsy, 5-lap-old meds, Achuri, 5-lap-old meds. So John really looking like he might have set himself up for a really strong finish of the race here, and obviously that strategic masterstroke of just playing for the safety car really absolutely looking like it's going to favour him right now, as he's really regained positions from what was a pretty awful race start.
Yeah, well, I think this safety car is coming in into this up. So you see on the back straight there in sector 3, we've got a lot of cars that need to catch up, but that won't matter. Michael Massey is going to send this baby into the pits as soon as he can. And we're going to get these 2 laps of racing underway very, very shortly.
So, the whole field now having made 1 stop. The back 3 guys, Nameless, Trenny and Foxy, having made 2. And you can see that, you know, there's a lot of guys here really struggling. I'm not sure if it's the handling model that we obviously saw an update last week that changed the handling a little bit. The new game has changed the handling. But Xander, absolute fierce competitor in this division. The winner of Season 2 Academy. Fierce compared to last season, really struggling to keep his car on the road this time. I'm not sure if he's changed his assist, but look at him, still 40 seconds back on the field after the safety car, and just absolutely really struggling to keep it going. And seeing a few of these guys just, you know, really not being able to keep it on track. So bit of carnage.
Yeah. There's been a little bit of carnage here, and it's just going to be interesting what's going to happen here and how it's going to end up working, especially with the fact that the safety car's in this lap, as we've been given the message by race control. So everybody's going to be looking for positions, although personally I think you just got to stay cool as a cucumber and you're going to be perfect for this race.
Yeah, and how many race restarts has Base Baby led tonight? He has led every single lap of racing apart from, you know, when he's pit, but he has been absolutely indomitable all night, and fingers crossed he can keep it together for these last 2 laps. But he has not struggled under the pressure of that restart once, and you got to say he's probably the best safety car restarter in all of ARL at this point. No man who's seen more safety car restarts.
He's definitely going good, but look at Jean Hanny. He's on a flyer right now, absolutely. He's gotten past Kev the Gardener. He's up into P3, and he's chasing down that 4-lap-old soft runner. And we can see Joe's not having fun. He's going wide there through turn as we have a McLaren spinner. And the Papaya team really not having a good day. Something's obviously up with their race crew. But let's follow these top 3 runners. They're in the main championship contending, or they're in the main contention here for a race win. And look at Hanoi, he's on the back of Joe, so close. And he's forced Joe into a little mistake there, and he's going to get a better run. ERS is active. The yellow flag in Sector 1, I do not care about that. I'm more cared about this. Joe, he's bleeding his ERS. He needs to stay ahead. I think John is just going to back out for this corner. And he's going wide, and Joe's gotten a really good exit there.
And John, of course, doesn't actually need to pass Joe on track to take that position back, but does need to get it done really quickly if he wants any chance of getting back at base baby. And there he goes, up the inside. Looks like he's going to force his way through that hairpin, and there's not really going to be a whole lot Joe can do to keep him back. But Joe defending fiercely, runs very wide, clouts the wall just slightly, and it looks like John should be able to get the run on him. Jumps back into the slipstream, very hungry, one lap to get it done. Every moment here favouring base babies. He goes further and further off into the distance for what looks like a potential first Ferrari win of the season. And John Hanoi just cannot get past Joe. Meanwhile, these guys leaving the rest of the pack behind. Kev the Gardener, Wow Wubsy falling off. Obviously, those tyres not really able to keep up the fresh softs, particularly of John. And yeah, Joe now gets himself some breathing space. So it looks like it's a matter of Joe now trying to build enough of a gap on the guys behind. The jury's around to try and save as many positions as possible. That 5-second penalty is just haunting him.
As we can see, Joe, when he was up the back of Bass Baby, he did have a really big snap of oversteer. Good save, but it cost him around about 1.5 seconds that he had on Joe. And that's going to cost him the P2 on track, but he will get P2 from the penalty if he can just keep it nice and tidy. As we're rounding through Sector 2 now, DRS is not going to be enabled at all any of these laps now remaining, which is the final few corners now, about the final 6, I believe. And we've got another yellow flag. All the drivers not enjoying this sprint as much as they might want to. Wow Wubsy, will he get the move on Kev the Gardener? The 2 teammates of this season. But Shanuti, he's a little bit closer.
He's juicing hard.
I don't think he's going to be able to get it, as we've got another flag in Sector 2. And as we cross the finish line, it's going to be Bass Baby who wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. An absolute masterclass from him today. And he can know that he did that car to the best that he could.
And rounding out the podium, John Hanoi and Kev the Gardener, 3-4. Awesome work for Aston Martin there. Wubsy taking 4th place, and Shanuti recovering from what was arguably a DNF. Wait, was it a DNF? I think we saw the double DNF from the Mercedes in the first part of the race, right? But was Shanuti recovering to take P5. Joe, haunted by that penalty, drops it all the way to P6 in the end after what you'd have to say was probably a P2 drive, wasn't it? But yeah, ultimately, one penalty brought him unstuck.
Yeah, well, I think from that race, John Hanoi in his first ever ARL race, I think he's gotten a P2 for the AlphaTauri team. But Aston Martin, they have got a P3 and a P4, which is going to rocket them up the constructors' standings. But now our 2 current constructors, our championship leaders, being Joe and the famous Valhalla, they have lost points. But I don't think James, he's done any better. He's got 1 point this race, and it's going to be Wubsy who's got all the points this race for them. And Bass Baby as well, getting the entire 25.
That's big news. I mean, I may drive for a Ferrari, and we've been needing some points this season. So on a personal note, it's very exciting to see Bass Baby able to take that win. And I think that might be his first win in ARL. And that was just absolutely, as you said, it was a masterclass. He never ever looked like losing that race at any point. We didn't see a slip, we didn't see damage, we didn't see him getting caught up in carnage. He qualified P1, he let every safety car restart. Just fantastic performance. He deserves every point he got.
All around masterclass there from the Ferrari of Bass Baby. And on that note, I'm not sure who's going to be leading the constructors' standings, but I'm sure we'll be able to get that soon. But I think Bass Baby has just put himself up very close to Joe with that 25. Probably within a couple points. I'd say this championship, probably a 4-5-way battle, I dare say, for this drivers' championship title this season in the Novice division.
And that is what we absolutely love to see. Going into the final race, if there's 10 guys in the mix, I will be as excited as you can possibly imagine. Quick reminder, everyone, if you weren't paying attention, final finishing order is Bass Baby, John Hanoi, Kev the Gardener, Wow Wubsy, Shanu, Joe, Hook Trio, Valhalla, Robbie, Old Mate James, Bevo in P11, Achuri 12, Nameless Guy in 13, 20S in 14, bottom 4, Xander, Foxy, Bailey, and Salty. Final 2 did not finish, unfortunate for those. I'll give you a quick view of the race director if you're feeling interested, if you want to come back and look at where your penalties were, maybe report a rival, figure out, whatever you need. And only 13 laps, but still plenty of penalties to go around, so Lovely clean racing. You love to see it. We're going to go very briefly to an intermission. I'm going to drink some water before my voice abandons me entirely. And after that, we'll be back for some interviews. Stay posted. Welcome back, everyone. We are here live with race winner Bass Baby. Bass Baby, Bass Baby. Can you answer an age-old question that I've had?
It's Bass, but...
Bass? Thank you. Okay, I thought it was Bass Baby. I win. Bass Baby, is that your first victory today, ARL?
I think I won one last season.
One last season? Yeah. 2 victories for ARL. I mean, that was... I don't know if you've heard us talking about you, but that was a dominant performance. You took pole, you led off the line, you led every safety car restart, you never looked like losing the lead. Do you have a secret?
No.
No.
Good engineering.
Oh, that's a shock. In the Ferrari team? That can't be right.
I've got a question. So obviously we saw you were very consistent. What was your plan in that final 13 laps of that sprint race that we had?
Not spin. Not get overtaken.
It did seem to work.
As you can see, that worked.
Oh yeah, it was a dominant performance. Thanks for giving us that. And yeah, it looked like you and Joe were gonna have a bit of a close race there for a bit, but ultimately he got himself a penalty, and it all looked a bit easy in the end.
What happened with him on the start?
It looked like he went just really deep into turn 1, lost 3 or 4 places, and just had to make, or maybe more places, and yeah, just had to make his way back through the field. So I guess the pressure got to him.
Unlucky for him. Lucky
it
for
was.
me.
Yeah, it paid off for you. Well, thanks for a great performance tonight, Bass Baby, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bass Baby. Bass.
Yep. Age-old question, age-old dispute settled. Oh, right. I believe that we were throwing some shade about McLaren's engineers. I've heard a rumor that one of them wants to defend their honor. Is that correct?
Yeah, one of them, I believe, your boy Cappy.
Okay, well, I better see if I can get him in here and see if he wants to defend his work. Cappy, you've been moved to the commentary box. What do you have to say for yourself? The McLaren strategy today was a laughing stock.
Well, first off, thanks for calling me and my perfect race engineer, Max, out during the presentation. I thought we did an absolute excellent job for what was going on. Bevo was absolutely flying. Hawk was having an absolute amazing time in the softs, defending for a good 9 laps. And just unfortunately, we didn't get the safety car that we're banking on for the end. We had the strategy for an early safety car, believing that everyone at the first corner was going to be crashing, losing front wings. And look, we did a Ferrari strat. We tried something different. We tried something new, edgy. It's all about the boys here. We're all trying to get amongst it, and it just didn't turn out as much as we wanted to. So unfortunately, congrats to Bass. He was absolutely flying, but I believe the McLaren boys have got this in the second half of the season for sure.
We have seen McLaren come last season's Division 3 McLaren Novice division. They looked nowhere in the first half of the season, and then they were absolutely dominant. So we know you guys can do it. And
absolutely can. I see it happening. It's the orange team. It's just the color of winning. It's going to happen. It's always going to do it. Oscar is going to do it for us in the big league, and we're going to do it here in the ARL.
All right, I'm crashing this. Cappy, you failed. Hold on. You're not letting them get away with all the slander we heard this race, all right? You were way too PG, way too calm. Hi, Max Formal here. What exactly did you think our strategy was that was badly? I'm just going to straight up say it.
It was mostly the strategy that allowed your drivers to keep driving into other drivers. I'm not sure
Our
what
drivers driving into them. Yeah, how? Okay, my next question. How do you drive into another driver when you're in front of them? That seems pretty difficult. Is that some secret strat that you know about?
Reversing. So as you can see here, it's turned a little bit into WWE. I'm sure Kev the
yeah, it is. I'm coming for you at SummerSlam, Noddle. SummerSlam, I'm there, all right? Miami Stadium or something, turn 1. I'll show you what it means to feel a smackdown.
I'll be there for the commentary belt. Alright, thanks so much for your visit.
Max does not represent me in any shape or form in that interview just there, fellas.
Okay, thanks,
Thank
Cappy.
you.
That was enjoyable interview. That's going to be all for us here at ARL. It's been another fantastic night of racing. We will be back tomorrow night for Prodigy Division. Same track, same time, different night. We'll be looking forward to another night of close racing and hopefully some big shunts and a little bit of chaos. Anything you'd like to say to the watching masses before we leave, Deku?
One thing that I gathered from today was punt the papaya, and hopefully they can do better tomorrow. I'm banking on them. I've got some money of my own, hoping that they can pull out some good points tomorrow.
That's all from us, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night and go punt a papaya.